When I think of you, baby, nothing else seems to matter. It's when I think of you, you. When I think of you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conservatish Live. Oh my God, Trump found guilty on 34 counts of felonies and yada, yada. Before we have our illustrious guest, Marissa, aka Pushed Past Paralysis, joining me, I wanted to get on and just say, told you so. No, I wanted to get on. I wanted to get on and say, told you so. No, I'm kidding. Well, yes. This is bigger than this year's election. How long have I been saying it, ladies and gentlemen, that we cannot put all of our hope eggs into one election basket? We cannot put all of our hope eggs into one politician basket. Ladies and gentlemen, this is bigger than this election. The fight we are fighting is bigger than this election. We're fighting satanic, pedophilic oligarchs and politicians, and media, and in science and a lot of other districts. And they've got long game plans. They are looking at the long range. These motherfuckers are so satanic, they don't care if they die as long as the movement continues, because they serve, right? So what does that mean for me? That means for me, I care that Trump is being treated unfairly. I care that people who vote anti-Joe Biden. I care that people leave the Democrat Party. I care that even Trump gets elected. But I do not have my hope eggs into one politician basket. I refuse to put all of my hope eggs into one election basket. This is not the most important election of our lifetime. I understand that it is, but it's not. It's not. Because why? Because most importantly, when I hear that sentence, what does it do for me? It gives me urgency in my gut. It gives me anxiety. It gives me importance. I really have to do this thing. In a way, in a sense, it's kind of fucking coercion. ¿Sabes? It's them telling me I have to do something. Otherwise, my whole life depends on it. Fuck you. My life doesn't depend on it. And I tweeted about this, and I've been talking about it over and over and over. But if all you are doing, yes, I get it. They're treating Trump unfairly. Yes, I get it. It's fucking bullshit. Yes, I get it. It will be overturned. Yes, I understand. But if you're listening to me right now and you are putting all your hope eggs into this year's election basket, you've got another thing coming. Regardless, attention, regardless of whether the nigger wins or not. If all you're doing to fight the oligarchs and the lizards and the politicians and the piece of shit in the media and the university, blah, 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 if all you're doing to fight this is hoping and a wishing once every 4 years, you've got another thing coming. Does that make sense? Hello, everybody joining the stream. I'm saying we cannot afford, in the freedom movement, we free people cannot afford to put all of our hope eggs into one politician basket. We cannot afford to put all of our hope eggs into one election basket. Does that make sense? I'm saying this is bigger. This is longer. I'm saying we've got to grow up. And part of that growing up, hang on, I'm inviting Marissa into the stream. Part of that growing up is understanding that we need to protect our spirits. It's the most important election of our lifetime. What does that do for my spirit? It puts it in the dumperoonie. It puts it in the poo-poo. It puts it in the doo-doo, in the boo-boo, right? It puts it in the dumperino because I am essentially powerless over 300 million people's decisions. Does that make sense? We are all each in our individual 331. I know it's not that many fucking voters, but just go with me. 331 million people in this country. That's 331 million different social media bubbles, 331 million different elements of research or lack thereof. 331 million different people, and you're hoping one nigga is going to fix all of this? You're hoping one nigga is going to be perfect for every single one? You're hoping that one... Does that make sense? I'm saying we cannot invest all of our hope eggs into one politician basket. Well, how does that look? I've been called I've been called a lot of things recently. And one of them is condescending. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm trying to be engaging and loving. I'm trying to, and you know what? I'll tell you another motherfucking thing, and then I'll let Marissa in. Thank God she's here. Hello, Marissa. I see you in just a second. What I'm saying is, when I'm sometimes telling people to not be afraid, I'm also speaking to myself. I do a lot of work on myself. Some would say too much. Not because that means I'm like fucking Mother Teresa, but because sometimes it turns into navel gazing. Like I always said that? Yeah. But I'm saying I have to work hard to not be afraid and anxious. And when I see my friends, my fellows, my followers, my people, my brothers in arms against the state and the oligarchs and the Satanists be afraid and anxious, it makes me sad. And it makes me want to reach them and bring them out of the fucking mire. Does that make sense? So when I do what I do and say what I say and fight the way I fight, it's not me being condescending. It's partially me speaking to my motherfucking self. I don't speak down to anybody from any moral or spiritual hilltop. I'm not no fucking, right? But I'll just wrap that up by saying, again, we're fighting satanic oligarchs who have long game plans. And if that's the case, because it is, we cannot afford to put all of our hope eggs into one politician basket. So, in order to talk about baskets, no, I don't know. In order to talk about escaping New York, in order to talk about the Trump verdict, in order to talk about overcoming adversity, internal, external, real, and non-existent, ladies and gentlemen, Marissa, aka Pushed Past Paralysis. Hello.
Hi, I have terrible news. My phone is not working because the other one won't enable the camera. So we're working on my phone that's draining. So
oh God, how much percentage you got right now?
It's down to 20. It's going down and it's plugged in.
It's at like 19.
Yeah.
You see how much we need to get Marissa the fuck out of New York? We got to get her out of New York. We got to get her a new phone, new computer. Does your computer work, Mama?
The computer wasn't working for StreamYard.
For StreamYard, okay.
The camera wasn't going on, so I would have had to do it without the camera.
Okay.
And the other phone, the Android, the shitty phone, was not even working for like enabling it. Everything was blocked, and I don't know how to use that phone. So that one almost went out the window.
Okay.
And it's not mine, so I wouldn't have cared.
Right. This is New York shit, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, let's at least quickly just plug, and then if we run out of time, then we'll obviously do it again. But you are an author and inspirational speaker and a strong Islander, same as me. And you're specifically talking about, I mean, what do you normally work on? Do you think we even have time to talk about that?
I'll try to talk fast. I'm New York. It'll work. Listen, push past paralysis. This is what it's about, right?
Yes.
Listen, so paralysis is not just physical. Most of it is mental. Most of it is emotional. Most of it is external. If you let it be or not, people will try. You can't let them. Yeah, most of the things. I've gone to New York City to a bar that I found out 2 days before the event because it was an afterthought whether or not it was accessible. It wasn't.
Hmm.
I got carried up and down. You can't let anything stop you.
Nice.
But side note with that, anything that tells you that New York is the most accessible, that's a lie. Most of it is old, and because of the ADA, anything built before 1990 does not have to be up to code.
And everything is like pre-war and shit. Clarify for people, you are in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because people are just going to think you just got carried just because you're you.
That would have been the case anyway, but yeah.
Hey. So you're not above asking for help. That's one of the ways that we overcome paralysis.
I used to be, because I used to be really stubborn, like I could do it myself. But it's not a weakness to ask for help. And that's something that I think a lot of people have to learn the last few years, is because as much as the CVE was physical, it was very, very mental.
Right.
And took a toll on a lot of people for a lot of different reasons that had nothing to do with the actual illness.
Right.
And they needed to ask for help. They needed to reach out for community in an isolated incident for many.
Right. Did it affect your access to, I mean, obviously it affected all of our access, but did it affect your access to life?
Oh, yeah. I had to have friends go out on the island to get me food.
Wow.
There was the shelves were bare out here.
Right. How does it look these days? I know you're thinking about getting out of New York. You're in Long Island right now, right?
On Long Island. I know you're no longer here, but it's on Long Island still, buddy.
I fucking love these. I love fucking New Yorkers. Continue, sir.
How did you just call me sir?
No, I said continue. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So what was your question?
What was my question before I was rudely interrupted? No, I have no idea what my question was. We're wanting to get you out of New York.
Yes.
Okay. Because New York is a hellhole.
Yeah.
Even though
everything is going up. Like it's not so much as the illness anymore, which never really affected me to begin with because I wasn't scared. There are still the occasional wearers, but whatever. But the prices, my rent went up twice, and I get it. I want to go to Florida, which is not that much cheaper nowadays, but there's no winter, so quality of life will be better, and
it's flatter.
Yeah,
I mean, Long Island is a little flat, but
Yeah, and another thing is I was never on any government anything until my dad passed away 15 years ago. I've been on disability since then, and it sucks. So if there's any way I can push my push past paralysis brand, I'm gonna do that. Because it's pushpastparalysis.org. I have books on Amazon. Just search my name. I have 3 books. I'm working on another one, and yeah, I mean they're older books, so I haven't really come out with anything new. But it's my life. It's about my life. There's a book of truth-based short stories with events changed. One of them is called Everyone's Different, Get Over It. The other one is Wheelie Wonderland. No, you'll love the last one. Suck It Up and Shut the Hell Up.
Got it.
Yeah.
How's your phone percentage?
2%.
Good fucking Lord. Okay, well, we obviously need to do this again. I'm sorry we couldn't get the technology working. I guess I'll continue streaming, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I just need to rant.
How long are you going to be on? Because I will keep it plugged in and we'll see if I can come back.
Probably another hour. I mean, knowing me, I'm just a loudmouth motherfucker. You know that.
All right, just be a loudmouth for as long as you can, and I will come back.
Okay, yeah. Shoot me a text or just jump in, and I'll try to invite you in.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can get it to work on this other phone. I don't know how, but
okay. But we'll tell people pushpastparalysis.org.
Or you can go to my link tree. It's linktr.ee/pushpastparalysis.
And that's in the description. So everybody can go
Yeah.
click on that. Awesome. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely talk more because I definitely wanted to hear your thoughts on the verdict and on how the hellscape of New York and all that stuff. So
Oh, it's bullshit.
what?
It is
Both?
complete Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it, everything, all of it is bullshit.
Right.
And what's scary is they're after him to get to us,
Hmm.
and how close they're coming now.
Hmm.
Like, I still think this is not going to hold up.
Sure.
But, and we kind of all saw this coming, just
Yeah.
because they want to go.
Right.
But, I mean, it sucks, but they want to get us. And then you have to look at what are they distracting us from?
Hmm.
That's always another thing. Everything is always a distraction.
Yes. Well, I think I know your battery's almost dead, but yeah, I've got some thoughts. So, yeah, please come back. And if we can't make it work tonight, don't worry about it. We'll figure out another time too. Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad that it drained and I couldn't get it back up.
I'll try to find it in my heart to forgive you.
Oh shit, I'm screwed.
You owe me food. You owe me at least a New York pizza. I've been living in fucking Austin, Texas. There's no pizza here.
Okay. I'll bring bagels too.
Oh, bro. They don't have garlic knots here. I know. Luckily you're moving to Florida, or you're trying to move to Florida, because Florida has a lot of ex-New Yorkers. So what's up, Dylan Soup? What up, the Joseph Santos? Dylan says, hello, Marissa.
Dylan, I love you.
I love him more. No.
I'll fight you.
Yeah, you'll probably win. But the other thing is, yeah, they don't have garlic knots. They don't have real bagels. They don't have pizza. I'm impressed that your battery is surviving this long.
I'm
and there it went. Damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, Marissa will be back. She's going to plug her phone in. But let's talk about the goings on today. And it'll tie into a lot of things, and she'll try to come back. And welcome to the live stream. Viva Pete. Yes, Viva me. Hello, Dylan. Hello, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Marissa made a very interesting point there, that things are all about distraction. Now, what is the ultimate goal with their distraction? Because I feel like, and I know that a lot of my online audience can sometimes be very MAGA, and I'm not opposed to that. I'm very MAGA. Yes, yes, yes. Go Trump, blah, blah, blah. But what did I say at the top of the stream? For those of there's a bunch of new people in. So what did I say at the top of the stream? If we're putting all of our hope eggs into one politician basket or one election basket, we are fucked. And it's not because that basket in and of itself is sour or rotten, although the election definitely could be basket. That basket's fucked. But it's more because it's based upon our perception. As Marissa pointed out, what they're doing, the oligarchs, the pieces of shit, what they're doing is reaching for destabilization. Destabilization is the name of the game, right? Because if they can get you off kilter emotionally, physically, financially, safety-wise, border-wise, if they can get you off kilter, you will eventually, or most of us, unfortunately, will still reach for the steadying hand of the state. And then they fucking got you, sabes? They got us, right? And so my message for the last little while has been, and I tweeted this a couple of days ago when Trump spoke at the libertarian thingy. I've been talking about it a lot for a little while now, is I believe our fight needs to be multi-pronged, since their fight is multi-pronged, right? If we're thinking we got one prong and his name is Trump, and man, it's a great prong. I like that prong. But what happens when that prong is locked up? What happens when that one fucking prong, as great a prong, as golden and shining and truth and authentic and shitty and all that wonderful stuff we love him for, what happens when that prong is no longer in the game? Then what? You want to go from one prong to revolution? Stop, bro. Right? And we'll talk about defining revolution, because I think it's something we need to talk about. But that's why it needs to be multi-pronged. See, the oligarchs, the satanic pedos, whatever you want to call them, the politicians, the pieces of shit, they have multiple prongs. Because their ultimate thing, like I said a second ago, is destabilization. So if one of their prongs goes away, don't worry about it. They've got like 58,000 more, right? They're trying to steal the election, right? They're doing the immigration thing. They're doing the Fed print money thing. They're doing the Ukraine war thing. They're doing the Israel war thing. They're doing the this. They're doing the right. They got multi fucking prongs up in this bitch, and we got one fucking prong. Fuck you. That's not my opinion. That is not a good idea. That is not a good idea. The Joseph Santos says they're distracting from the letter of the Constitution. True. Our rights are not to be misrepresented as they have been so far. As long as people fight about a bloated moron named Donald, they win, not us. I can already hear some of the fucking fans going, "He's not bloated. Fuck you. He's a little bloated." Stop, bro. Stop, bro. Listen. I always said, if the nigga just said, "Yeah, I got small fingers. What is it? What's up?" It would have been better. Now, yes, they're distracting us from all those things, Joseph, but it's he's not bloated. They means the government. Yes, but bigger. See, the government is snatched. But here's an element of the distraction. Here's an element of the destabilization that we're not thinking about. I know me and a bunch of my anarchist shitbird followers on Instagram are definitely thinking about it, but I want to present this idea to you too. Remember in COVID when we had a lot of fear, right? We had a lot of destabilization. We had a lot of motherfuckers. Oh my God, Chinese niggas is falling down in the streets. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Right? And then they offered the steadying hand of the state. They offered, here's this perfect solution. Took us a year or 9 months, but it's the perfect solution. It's going to fix all your ailments. You're going to get to go to the Pearl Jam concert. You're going to get to go to brunch. Just take this solution. It's going to make everything better. Oh, you don't want the solution? How about we give you a fucking donut plus the solution? How about we offer you a burger and a fry and the solution? Oh, how about we lock down your fucking life unless you take the solution? Oh, how about we separate you from fucking society and call you a grandma killer if you don't take the solution? What's the ultimate lesson? The ultimate lesson is it has very little. Again, it has a lot to do with it, but it has very little to do with the actual symptom. I'm talking disease. The symptom is the vax, and fuck it with all its life. Absolutely. But the disease is destabilization, solution. Destabilization, solution. What did I tweet a couple months ago? Soon, what might happen is that all of a sudden you see, oh my God, we have all these terrorists events. Oh no, terrorists from China and from the Middle East and from all the nice brown Somalians we brought in and from all the Mexicans and the Bolivians and all the, oh, there's so much. It's so, now we're being fucked physically by immigrants. I'll tell you what, conservatives, I got a solution. It's called a digital ID. And some retarded conservatives will go, yeah, savior, proud to be an American. Fucking retard. They got you. Stop getting got. Stop getting got. Right? Now, I'm not saying a lot of us will, but I am saying that if they do want to try that shit, there's a lot of motherfuckers who are primed for the pump. There's a lot of motherfuckers who will go, oh, thank God, solution. Oh, thank God, stability. Thanks, government. That's what they want. Right? So what is the solution then? Well, there's a number. Because again, multi-pronged. I think one of our prongs could absolutely, and a bunch of my anarchist followers will be very upset for me saying this, and I don't care. This is conservatish. One of our prongs can and probably should be elections. Gross. Voting is for suckers. I know. It is. Totally. But it's one of our prongs because, in my opinion, regardless of which way it goes, people slowly move towards sovereignty. It's a move culturally that is important, right? So it's a net positive that Trump got found guilty on 34 felony counts. Regardless, even if they put the nigga in jail, which I doubt they would, but they might. They might. It's a net positive. Why? Because more people will be like, the fuck? See, you need apolitical retards to wake up to. Now, we don't need them for the revolution. We don't. My friend Jake pointed out, Jake Cartel, shout out to him, pointed out that only 3% of the population was involved in the Revolutionary War. So that's nice. We don't need upwards of 3. But if we can get a bunch of niggas upset, it's all for the better. Because what happens the more of us get dejected and disappointed and shocked at the oligarchs and their state puppets' behavior? What happens? We get a little bit more fed up. We get a little bit more, sure, violent, but also we get a little bit more revolutionary. Now, what do I mean by revolutionary? Because I have talked about this before, and sometimes people get a little twisted in their panties, and they think, does this mean that, Pete doesn't want us to have violence against the state? Bro, do you follow me at all? The fuck's wrong with you? I'll get to some of your comments in a second. And hello, everybody. I love you very much. How do I say this in as gentle a way as possible to not get a knock from the feds? Ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm not opposed to violencia at all. But I want to shift our focus a teensy bit because the word revolution means something different to everybody. Right? Just like Democrat, Republican, conservative. Some people think conservative means no gay shit ever. Some people think conservative is no this, no that, right? Some people think conservative means Christian. Some people think Christian means you're a Zionist. Sorry. Leave the stream. Unfollow me. Maybe we'll talk about that too. But as far as the definition of the word revolution, some people might see it as, my eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. And I'm not opposed to that. But you can sing that fucking track while doing lots of things. You can sing that track, right, while shooting a cannon. You can sing that track while making raw milk. You can sing that track while becoming a non-citizen national. You can sing that track while committing tax fraud. You can sing that track while making anti-government memes. You can sing that track which changed the culture. You can sing that track while making t-shirts, stickers that poke fun or expose your propaganda. You can sing that track while doing lots of shit. You can sing that track while opening a lemonade stand, my nigga. You can sing that track by meditating, praying, going to church. Hello, ding. Going to church is a revolutionary act. I'm not saying I'm opposed to the other shit. Anyone who follows me on Instagram and Twitter understands that I'm not. Okay. And, one rant at a time. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I love you very much. Um, you know that I'm not opposed to that. My eyes have seen the glory, right? I'm ready. My eyes have seen the fucking glory. I'm ready. And all you men, by the way, should be flexing your psycho muscle. Okay. I'm not saying towards the innocent, of course not. But I'm saying if you're not capable of murder, get capable. But anyway, I'm not saying I'm opposed to that angle, but I am saying how many tools, prongs, how many tools are in our tool belt? Is it just the one tool? Because I'll tell you one thing. That one tool, as much as I want it, that one tool is an unput backable tool, right? And I'm not opposed to taking that shit off the belt, but I am saying it's an unput backable tool. That's one thing. Once you flex that tool, nigga, it's flexed. Sabes? Okay. And that includes the state too. And they've done a lot of flexing of that tool. I understand that. And there's an argument to be said that it's time, but I don't know if it is. And I'll go back to my analogy. So we flex that tool. There's no putting that back in until the dust has settled and a lot of people are, right? Right. Now, what other tools? Well, that's one of the reasons why not to. Another reason why not to flex that tool is because the state. Remember the destabilization thing I'm talking about? For anyone new to the stream, they destabilize so that we reach for the steadying hand of the state, right? So another reason not to grab for that tool is because they kind of want us to reach for the fucking tool. Remember Ruby Ridge? Remember Waco? I know I talked about this a couple months ago. I don't care. I'm going to do it again. Remember Waco? Remember Ruby Ridge? Remember January 6th? The analogy I go to is moles. Oh my God, Marissa's back. Let me finish this real quick. Oh, did you plug in your shit? Oh, I can't hear you right now. All right. You know what? Let me put my analogy to the side. Maybe I'll come back. Here's Marissa back. Oh my God.
That was hell. But
What?
I managed to fight an android, and I'm back.
Yay!
79%, so we're good.
Oh,
the one don't even ask. Don't even ask about the other one.
Okay, I won't even ask. Can you turn yourself up? Are you low? How is your volume, everybody?
Let me see. Her phone sucks, so it might be.
That's okay. I hope you're up.
Is that better?
I can kind of hear myself echoing. Oh my God. Are you guys hearing that echo?
I'm not.
Well, we've got no one listening to me. Everybody's just doing their dishes while listening to us instead of commenting like bastards. How dare you? Death to all of you. Hello, Marissa. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I was just discussing, and then I'm down to shift it over, but I was just discussing the idea of, I really hope I'm not echoing because I hear myself echoing. Anyway, all right. I was just discussing the analogy I go to as far as the destabilization so that we can reach for the stabilizing handle of the state, right? Is whack-a-mole. When there is only one of us moles up, right? When one of us sticks our heads up, the state takes out their giant hammer and goes whack, whack, whack. Look at this, all you other moles. Can't you see how fucking look, we're threatening you with our big giant hammer. Don't you dare stick your fucking head up, right? Yep. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, we're 331 million. Okay. And there's only 750,000, roughly 708, I think, cops in the country, and most of them are on our side. Okay. At least intellectually. And there's only 1.2 million people in the armed services. They can't handle us. We have 400 million guns. They can't handle us. So what they do is when we flex that muscle, when we reach for that tool, they go, got you. And they hit one of us so that the rest of us go, oh dear, oh dearie me. even though we could overcome them very easily. I hope that makes sense, Marissa.
Oh, and I completely agree. Yeah. They have done that to make an example of anybody who look at, am I allowed to say it? J6.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That was the biggest example of all.
Right. And so when I
People that didn't even, people that were across the country streaming it. Okay?
right, right. What's that guy, Tariq or something? He didn't even fucking go.
Hmm.
Yeah, the main guy. Um, so I guess I'm saying that just to wrap up this point that like, okay, a lot of us are really angry right now, and there's elements that are absolutely valid, and we need to talk about it. But if we're thinking in the idea of it's time for revolution, define revolution, define re- revolution, because if revolution means a small, disorganized populace strikes this way, and then the state goes boom, right? Because they're waiting for us to do that, boom, then that means the rest of us little moles get scared, get intimidated, and curve back. And I think that's a fucking problem. And I think we should be careful about flexing that tool. Not careful. I think we should be cognizant of the fact that they're waiting for us to do that sometimes. And also that once we take it out of our tool belt, there's no putting it back. So I think defining revolution as broad as possible is important. The state hates that we have higher powers. The state hates that we have a meditation practice. The state hates that we put anything above it. The state hates that we invest our money in fucking crypto that they have no fucking control over. The state hates when we get produce, meat, and dairy from actual farms and don't tell them about it. The state hates. So revolution can look like and should look like a lot of fucking things. That's just what I'm saying as far as that.
You know what else the state hates?
What?
Not being able to control the people that they look at as the most vulnerable.
Interesting. Can you please elaborate on that?
Because, like I was going to say before I was cut off by the stupid phone, I've only been on the system for 15 years. Long time, but it wasn't my whole life. And to get off of it, they make it so hard for you. I can make next to no money and still get my check. The reason that I know that is because I learned the hard way. My dad was sick 15 years. Well, no, yeah, he died 15 years ago. So he was sick, couldn't work. So I was working. I was getting a check, but I was working.
Right.
Was not aware that I could only make like $1,000 a month on the books. So I was doing what he taught me as 27 years as a lead butcher to work hard, was doing all this overtime, got my entire check taken away. And I was not making enough to supplement it.
Wow.
I was making more than with the check was more than 1,000.
Right.
So if they close that gap, like if they were to tell me you can get a job and work up to what your check is, and then we'll take you off. That's fair. That's completely fair. If I'm making what you're giving me, go
Right.
ahead, take it. I'm not going to be selfish. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to, you know, work the system and, try to take both in that way. But if I'm only making a certain amount at a job, to take the rest of it away, and that has scared the crap out of me for the last 15 years.
Right.
To overwork. So now in my head, I'm like, okay, I have to triple it because not only does my check go away, so does my mother's
Hmm.
because she's under as caretaker for me. So it's two checks that go away.
If
So
you
when I
make
say I want to
it,
build my brand and I need support,
right.
this is why.
Right.
This
Because
isn't like
if you make $1,001, it's now all gone versus 999 or whatever it is, the number obviously. But yeah, that's how it works.
yeah.
So the state likes you on the tit, right?
They like you dependent.
They like you dependent. How what's ways, because we all know state-run infrastructure is shit, right? And I know that New York's is one of the worst because it's such a behemoth and it's such a huge apparatus, and big dumb animals are hard to change. Big dumb animals don't move quickly. Big dumb animals rarely feel the piercings of ants, meaning tiny ants who are like, hey, stop doing that. They're not going to change, right? So what I'm saying is, what do you have any experiences besides that one that point to the state of New York being dog shit? And I mean the government specifically, but because you have tactile experience with it.
Um, the prices are absolutely insane
Hmm.
right now. Um, it's unlivable. But unfortunately, where I want to go is so popular right now that it's becoming just as expensive. I actually live in a generally red area,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter because the entire state's blue.
Right.
Like
Most of Long Island's pretty fucking red from what I remember.
they did flip. Um, I think some one seat in Suffolk flipped, and then the whole George Santos thing happened in New York. I
Yeah.
love him, by the way. He is
Oh,
the
really?
nicest guy.
Oh, you've met him, right?
Yeah, yes.
See, this is the thing. Mike Harlow, shout out to fucking dumb Mike.
I love Mikey.
That's actually how we met. For some reason I feel like everybody fucking knows you. Everybody, every time I've done a stream with like Carrie Smith or Mike Harlow or all these other, oh yeah, we like push past paralysis. But I saw Mike Harlow fucking riding around in goddamn amusement park with what's his face, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? How did he even fucking get introduced to him?
Who was it?
The guy you just said, the Santos.
Yeah, he was with Santos. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
This is an element of mystery that I want to find out, but I also really don't want to find out.
I'm here for it. Oh, if you want me to find out, I'll find out.
Oh no, I have that dum-dums. Although Mike Harlow, if you're listening right now, you haven't fucking texted me back in like 2 months, you piece of shit.
I gave him my number on Twitter. He hasn't texted me once ever.
What a piece of fucking shit. If you're listening, Mike Harlow, fuck you. With love.
Still love you though.
Still love you. George Santos. Okay, so New York prices are can we also just say, can I share this from experience? So I left New York. I moved to New York right before the pandemic. Signed my lease. 2 days later, city got shut down, lost my job. We were all going to die, blah, 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 right?
Wait a minute. You willingly moved to New York late in life?
I'm a musician.
Still, what's wrong with you?
Listen, goddammit. There's a lot. But so I moved. I mean, look at who I'm talking to. Of course, there's something wrong with me. Hey.
I will be the first to tell you they missed something up here. Misdiagnosed something.
Right. So I did. I moved to New York to do music, and obviously, the city got shut down. Lost my job. We were all gonna die. Blah blah blah. So I waited for New York to pull its head out of its ass for fucking 2 goddamn years, and then eventually I moved out in July of 22. And I have to say, have you ever lived outside of New York?
For 6 months after Hurricane Sandy, after we lost everything, 5 feet of water in the house, I lived in Missouri. Now, vacationing to see my family for a week at a time in the summer was great. Living there for 6 months, just not my thing.
Yeah, nobody likes Missouri. Come on now. But I bring that up just to say, I can tell you from experience, because New York has gotten worse since Sandy. I can tell you from experience that as soon as I left, as soon as I left, I felt an energetic shift in my body and in my aura and in my life and in every fucking part of me. Look at goddamn Mike Harlow right now. He's on fire for shit. Just like all of a sudden walking lighter. I talked to him, when he moved, like there is something oppressive in the vibe. There is something oppressive in the air. And yes, it's from the top down, but not really. I think the majority of the people in New York, especially in the city, like being told what to do. They enjoy regulations. They enjoy the state. They're fucking bottoms, right? They're Connecticut fucking, everybody cover your ears, faggots. Okay. They're fucking turds. Okay. They came to New York not because they're from New York or even they love it. They watched Sex in the City in the 90s. They watched Friends. They thought it was romantic. They come to fucking New York and they ruin it and turn it because they feel, oh my God, I'm in the big city. Let me vote for Democrat because that's what was the right people to do. And it's my first black person. Oh my God, I better vote Democrat forever for the rest of my fucking life. I'm right all the time. But I'll end that rant just by saying these are not New Yorkers. The real New Yorkers have been priced out to the further boroughs and beyond, or to Florida, or to Texas. And I'm just putting a shout out. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it is because I have personal experience of leaving that town and being like, whoa. Like in Austin, no one gives a fuck about you. Everybody minds their own fucking business. In New York, I felt, even though there's millions of people, you still feel that. Dylan says bottoms, all of them, even though heterosexuals. Yes. You still feel that oppressive, like you better vote the way we want you to. You better do whatever. You better think this way about Ukraine. You better think this way about Israel. You better think this way about blah, blah, blah. It's oppressive, you know?
I have so much to say. First of all,
Please.
even just being on vacation in Florida, it was like I could breathe.
Yes.
So I can't imagine. Like, I get it. Being on vacation is like, you know, sunshine and rainbows and everything is great. And, you know, you do have to live a normal life when you live there. But still, I can't imagine that it's as shitty as New York when you become a local.
Right.
Next, the fear is the virus.
Yes.
Fear is the virus.
Please expound.
Like you said, people are afraid. People are judgy. People, and okay, New Yorkers are judgy by nature. Okay,
Right.
they're judgy. But I have never, the amount of people that I've lost, and I used to look at it like a loss, but it's not anymore because whatever. It just made more room for normal people in my
Right.
life.
Right.
But to be automatically accused by people that you've known forever, and I'm sure you've experienced this, of being a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, a murderer. You want to kill everybody because you're not getting 16 jabs and wearing 5 masks for every hole in your body. Like, yeah. And even as far as like this last month, over the last few weeks, I have been attacked, but in a, oh my God, you hate me and you want me to die kind of way over the fact that I'm America first and I'm staying out of the whole Israel and Palestine thing.
Ding.
And I made a joke. You can't joke anymore either.
Which is
was
yeah, go ahead.
wasn't even my joke. I posted a meme that said that the people that are protesting, and I will explain what the context for the dum-dums that are tuning in, but it was the protesters are the same people who eat Tide Pods.
Yeah. Right.
Now that can be, it was the Palestinian protesters, but I would venture to say it could be any protesters because most people who go out and protest, and I'm saying this as somebody who is in a quote-unquote marginalized community. Even if I could march with my feet, I wouldn't.
Right.
Okay? So
plus it's a lot of wheeling around. Like you got to be really you get wore out.
Yeah, no. And if I'm not going to do it for me, I'm not going to do it for a community that I'm like with the whole white guilt thing.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it for a community that has no effect on me.
Right.
What
and they're
people do
paid
in their bedroom is none of my business. I really don't give a shit. But you have to care. You have to praise them. Oh my God, no. I don't care. Do what you want to do. You know, if you want to be here from another country, be here legally.
Right.
Like, I really don't care. It's just we have rules in this country, which, I mean, do we? Like, the Constitution's on fire today,
Right.
but
Well, speaking back to that, I know this is going to maybe move us on to the Trump topic again, but speaking to that, I mean, I feel like the verdict today, it is the Constitution is on fire, but it was on fire. It's been on fire for a while, but it's been on fire. It was on fire during the COVID stuff, right? So, and now you see a bunch of motherfuckers backtracking. You see a bunch of motherfuckers saying, "Okay, we'll take the AstraZeneca down and we'll recall it." Okay, okay, yeah, okay. So the state, the oligarchs, the uniparty, whatever the fuck you want to call it, will take a step because they know that the pushback will take a long time. They know that it will be expensive, and they know that they'll get all the benefit of them taking the step in the interim. So they know that they're doing the wrong thing, but they won't have to pay the consequences even when they do take their foot out of the fucking hornet's nest because I natural immunity or we were making mistakes, pandemic amnesty, blah blah blah, right? We were doing it was a big scary virus. It was they know that they're doing it. So that the fulcrum, in my personal opinion, and one of the many, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. One of the fulcrums is that revolution thing I was talking about, not violence necessarily yet, but not violence, but the revolutionary move of, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. That's the revolutionary move.
and I love how you put that because it ties into what you were saying, about, like, I've heard you say this before, but I think I heard you say it when I was coming in again with, you know, personally and vibrationally, and we have to do for ourselves, put our own oxygen masks on first. That's the only mask we should be using
Right.
before we can help another person. So it might not be because I don't think there will ever be a successful unified uprising because we've we've proven not everybody's going to do it, so there's always going to be an example to be made of somebody in that way.
Maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So somebody is always going to be scared, and right now the fearful people outweigh
Right.
the ones who are not. Even the ones who are just trying to convince you that they're complacent and just trying to take care of themselves and their family,
Mm-hmm.
there's an element of fear of, I don't want to step out and do what might need to be done,
Right.
and or I don't want to be an example in that way. I mean, look at me.
Mm.
Not only was I getting pushback from people that I knew, but I'm in a quote unquote marginalized community. Everybody was trying to convince me that my president, yeah, my president, hated me,
Mm-hmm.
wanted me to die, or like didn't care about me. No, I
Right.
think we should have small government. The overreach is far too much, and if you give me a good economy, you give me national security, because right now, if you don't want me to die, you should want me to have a safe country. You should want me to be able to be independent and go out in my own town, in my own city, by myself without worrying.
Right. And the other fucked up thing, okay, they also take away I think it's okay or better than Manhattan, obviously, but they also don't like you defending yourself.
Nope, they
Yeah.
don't. And the illegals take away our resources.
Right.
The disabled are 21% of the world's poorest. We are supposed to be getting allocated to us $200 billion a year. Now, obviously, that's not to every single disabled person, which I think there's 57 to 65 million disabled, something like that, if I remember correctly. But obviously, that's not going to all be allocated to us individually. It's going to
Right.
be allocated also to services. It's also going to be allocated to other things.
Sure.
But if you look at the country, why are there lists of the top cities or top um, towns or top states for this disabled to live? And if you go deeper and look into them,
Mm,
New York City, Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis.
right.
What do they all have in common? Democrats and high crime rates. So
Hmm.
they do want us to die, apparently.
Right. And I'll bring it a step further. When you look at, a lot of shit rightfully gets talked about homeboy with the mustache, but there were a couple other mustaches in the last 100 years or so that also were not very favorable to people who couldn't hold their own weight, for people who couldn't tow their own plow, for people who couldn't, right, to each according to his work, right? Well, what if you can't? Oops. Oops. You fucking pieces of shit. You care so much about the working class. You don't even have a fucking job, my nigga. Shut the fuck up. Fuck it. Right. Anyway, I'm just saying the big hearted Democrats, they're not big hearted. They're
No.
poison. And yeah. And
And
it's
even
now coming into it's coming in, like you said earlier, to the apolitical people. It's coming into their mindset, into their perspective, and that's why another reason why this verdict is a net positive.
yeah, because the normal people are like, okay, why is my gas so high? Why is my rent so high? Why is this so high? And they're too close to finding out the truth.
Right.
And they can't have that.
Right. And I, you know, I also would like to talk about. I think it maybe. I don't know if it's a hard transition, but and I can go a little while longer. Can you go a little longer?
Yeah, I can go as long
All
as
right.
you want.
Um, Everybody go follow her. Go to pushpastparalysis.org, by the way, you bastards. And to her link tree. What is it? Linktree.com/.
Push past paralysis.
Okay. Um, because we got to get this woman out of New York. But the other thing that I also wanted to have you talk about is identity politics and this idea, like you said, oh, Trump is, Satan. That's what you were told or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I know from my personal experience, and I've talked about it on here, being a half Latino, I've had white people specifically, I think I only got called a Nazi once by a black guy. Everybody else has been all white guys. Full blood Connecticut ass looking, Berkeley born, right? White guys. And even from way back then, I was already starting to go like, this is weird. As soon as I started to see that, I was like, oh, wait, this is an untenable situation. I can't afford to let these people have anything to do with me. So I am now officially off the hook. And that's part of the thing about allowing people to get dejected about the Trump verdict. Is like you hold up the mirror and then you give them other options. That's an important thing. Other options that are not the steadying hand of the state, So any thoughts about the identity politics thing or getting help from that is not government help and what that looks like for you?
Um, that actually is the way I wish it would go. I wish there were more communities that would come together and create something. I know one of my friends. I told her I don't really want to live in a community for the disabled, but she has one in Florida. Another one of my friends homesteads up in upstate New York,
Hmm.
and things like that would, uh, giving those types of resources, being a good neighbor. Like, hey, do you need any help with food? Like, I have all of this extra, stuff that I planted. Do you want some? We don't need, especially if we, because my big thing right now is saving. So if we save and we try to do what we can while still on the system and getting off of it and having not such a hard transition off of it, that would help a lot.
Right.
Just having more people, um it's not even like, though I don't call most people grifters, but it's not even about the money. It's about just, but because there's people who are shamed into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even me, I won't be like, hey, I'm gonna do a give send go because I don't want to be called a grifter. I have plenty of ways. I have books. I do have, my PayPal's and stuff like that. But
Okay. Can I?
good.
Well, maybe you. No. All right. This is okay. I think you'll be all right. I would like to push back a teensy bit on that.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, and maybe this is just because I've done a GoFundMe years ago, but sometimes the help, like you said, you used to be, not liking to ask for help, but like I've had that problem too. Lord knows. And I also have like, oh, the man shit, and I'm fucking almost 40, and I can't, I don't want to be a burden on this motherfucker, even though I'm dying inside, I don't want to call my friend because, well, it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, maybe, it's like, Pete, stop. But I have found that help shows up, and you can, especially if anyone's listening and they believe in a higher power, like God uses us to help each other. And unless we open that door, we don't know what it looks like. Now, I was afraid sometimes to open that door because what if the help doesn't show up? But I know from my personal experience, especially if I managed, or when I manage my expectations, like if I think like, if I'm worried about the number, like even the number of these fucking, how many people are on the goddamn stream, if I worry about that shit, I get spiritually sicker, but mentally, whatever. If I'm letting go of it, I actually feel like people do want to show up for me, and I'm not even asking for help, like on a big life decision. I don't know. Personally, I would just push it just a teensy bit back on that, because I do think people would not see you as a grifter if you said, "Hey guys, I would like help to get out of New York and get off of the state help. Could you help me out?" I don't know. Personally, I sent $20 to a motherfucker who lost her house in a tornado a couple weeks ago. Like, I'm not saying that to suck my dick. I'm saying, sorry. Um, I'm saying I am, down. I think a lot of people might be more down to help than you think.
No, and I know that, but the problem is I'm so scared from what happened at the job, where I'm afraid that it's gonna be where I'm snatched off again because so many people are helping, and then they stop, and then I'm
Fuckers.
screwed. Yeah.
So you're saying part of the reason is you don't want to you don't want to
No,
lose
I
the.
don't want to make. I my fear is this. Okay.
You don't
Like
need to spell it out. Wait. You don't need to spell it out if it's gonna. I don't want no fucking, government fucking piece of shit watching this and going like, oh, she's getting the, like. You don't need to. Don't out yourself.
Okay. Well, no, but basically that's what I'm afraid. I'm afraid that
Okay.
I'm gonna get too much help for the government's opinion, but not enough to actually make the changes, and then I'm screwed.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So
all
what
right.
the happy medium is just plugging all of my
Valid.
platforms, and anybody can do whatever they want. Whether you want to get my books, whether you want to follow me on social media so that I can maybe get monetized on these platforms that I'm on,
Right.
or whether you want to actually give to my, PayPal's and my whatever the other one.
Yeah, you have Venmo on your link tree. I saw that.
Yeah, I have Venmo and I have Cash App, but you know, there's different options, and I do that by design to keep it all separate, because
Sure.
once you reach a certain amount on any of those, it gets dinged. So
Oh,
and it takes a lot to move. So
right.
this isn't like a cheap dream that I
And
have.
also, just as a fun little side note, I'm not saying it's going to go off into a new tangent, but like if you are paying somebody on Venmo, just make that shit between friends, private. Oh no, this is not a transaction. I don't know what you're talking about. Just fucking just fuck the state. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
so yeah, okay. So we're thinking outside the box by thinking in the box. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Um, Now, can we talk a little bit before we end? Can we talk a little bit about the inspiration around? Let's choose maybe your favorite book. Is it the Shut Up and Get Over It? What is the name of it? What that last one?
Suck it up and shut the hell up.
Okay. Now, did you on the cover point to your legs and say, "You stop complaining, cunt. Look at this shit." Like, did you do that too?
No, and I'll
Oh,
tell
okay.
you why.
Oh my.
Okay, because in one of my houses, because I've moved a couple of times since my dad passed away. One of my houses, we had to have a ramp built, and it was like a two, like a not, yeah, it was like a two-tier ramp, and then you know how they have like the piece of wood in the middle.
No.
Okay, well
Wait, a piece
basically,
of wood in the middle for like in the middle of the ramp?
so okay, you have the railing, and then
Right.
there's usually a lower piece of wood under that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, so well, I'm sitting down, right, and my best friend who I've known, well, one of my best friends who I've known since pretty much before kindergarten,
Right.
was wheeling me up the ramp. It was the summer. I did not have shoes on. She makes the turn a little too quick, and my foot goes right into the piece of wood.
Ow.
Really?
What
She asked
happened?
me if it hurt. She asked me if it hurt too, and I laughed at her.
Oh, because you can't feel it. I don't know why I completely. All right. Got it.
Got it?
Listen, I haven't had garlic knots in almost 2 years. What do you expect from me? All right.
Oops.
Oh, where'd you go? There you are.
You froze for a second, but I think we're back.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I said I haven't had garlic knots in over almost 2 years. Of course, I'm going to be a little slow. All right.
You still glitching? Up here now?
No.
Okay. Just
Okay.
make sure.
All right. So finish your story.
No, that's it. So I laughed at her. I'm like,
Oh,
really?
okay.
She goes, "Does it? Oh my God, did it hurt?" I'm like, really? She goes, "Oh, yeah." So no. I like that. I don't have a feeling down
Makes sense.
there. I have feeling where it counts, but just not down there.
Got it. Um, Now, as far as the book, though, um, uh, what's the impetus? And obviously, you don't need to give it all away. We want people to buy it, but what's the impetus behind it? Was it more of a
Uh,
political book? Was it inspirational? What is it?
it's just stories from my life and lessons that I've taken. Um, the new book that I'm working on is going to be called Push Past Paralysis, and it's going to be pretty much about what push past paralysis really means. It's mind, body, spirit.
Hmm,
It's definitely not physical, but there's aspects of they're mini books compared to this book. Put it that way. So there's life lessons, there's life stories in all of the books, and in some of them it's people that I've coached, which that's another thing I've done. I've life coached, but I tend to not like to do that because it's like pulling teeth sometimes to
sure.
get people to really want to change
Right.
their life. And I get so invested that I'm like, you know what? Pull back.
Right. So only
Um,
reach out to her on pushpastparalysis.org if you're serious.
if you're ready to actually change your life and you really want to, then I will gladly talk to you and we'll work something out and I'll work with
Hmm.
you. But yeah, so the books are basically autobiographical, um, life lessons, you know, things that I've just come to the conclusion and learned, and things that I've been through. There's another story. I mean, I shouldn't really give these stories away because then you won't get the books, but it's kind of funny because it just shows the way my mind works. So when I was little, I don't even know how old. I was coming back from the store, and there was this lady who was sitting on the bench. She was reading either a book or a magazine or something, and she lifts her head and she goes, "What happened to your leg?" And I was like, "Nothing." And I was gonna tell her, I was born with spina bifida. Like, I wasn't offended by the question. And then she goes, "Oh, I hope you feel better." So I go home. Ma, She comes in. She's like, "What's the matter?" I go, "Does this chair look like it's temporary? Does this look like it's a hospital wheelchair that we rented or something?" She goes, "No. Why?" I go, "Because this just happened." And I told her, she's like, "You got offended because she thought that your chair looked like a hospital chair." Like, that's what I thought she thought. Like,
Right.
we paid good money for these things.
Touche. All right. So you wrote that book. You wrote 3 books. And we're specifically, I wanted to have you on for multiple reasons, and I'm glad we were finally able to make it work. Um, but I think, like I said earlier, I think, I mean, in my small way, I think obviously I wanted to just chat with you about life, but also this is an element of, asking, of asking for help. And it's something that you should be, you know, proud of, and even if it is like, hey, come buy my book. Like, there are grifters in this world, and there are motherfuckers, grifters online. But I've had, as an example, so right now online, I've on Instagram, I have like 26,000 followers, blah, blah, blah. And there's motherfuckers who follow me for the last year who don't even know that I do music. Right now, part of that is me because I don't post a lot about it, but like, it's not their fault. There's just such a huge volume of information, people that we now have contact with, fill in the blank. Our mind, we're so busy at our jobs and our whatever. So it's not uppermost in their mind. So when they do see me post a music video or whatever, they're like, "Oh wow, you have a great voice." I'm like, "You haven't been fucking look at the link in my bio. I say it on every fucking post."
Well, the algorithm too, and that's a problem. I'm gonna
Right.
go on a little bit of a tangent here. Um, I'm on TikTok too, and once you get to 10K on there, you can start monetizing a little bit here and there with different things, like Creator Fund or whatever. Um, so I've kind of fallen into a little bit of the follow train type thing where you comment on a video and then you like everybody's comments or whatever. But I'm noticing that my page has become just a bunch of pages that I don't like. So I literally made a video. I'm like, if you don't want to follow me, you don't have to, because I
Right.
want the people who follow me to resonate with me, and I want to follow people that I resonate with.
Right.
And as far as the give send goes, I have donated when I could, or I've mostly shared, because I if I give, it's like $5,
Right.
which I know $5 means a lot to some people,
Hmm.
but I have nothing against them. It's just I've seen people in need who really are, and they get called grifter, they get called, whatever, and they're absolutely not.
Right.
So it's just, I would rather put that off if I can.
Sure.
But it's not totally out of the question. I just would also like to
Well,
finally build my brand to the point where
exactly. And
it could work
right.
out more.
And that's what I mean. I'm saying, like, that's an element of asking for help that, is it's not popular, especially like in my circle. I see a lot of motherfuckers who, I just make memes for the love of the game. God bless you. Okay. Because number one, I'm more talented than you. Number two, I'm putting my name and my face on it. You fucking anonymous account with private, like, I'm scared. And number three, you have a job. You're not trying to do this for a living. I'm trying to do this for a living. I make shirts and memes, and like, I do all the stuff that I'm doing, and I'm spinning those plates. Yes, because I love it, but because I'm good at it and I feel like God put me here for it. So I'm trying to fulfill my purpose. And in the interim, it would be nice if I didn't have to work, a shitty ass job, 9 to 5, um, the way I do. But so when people, and I'm putting this just to say as well, some people, and maybe it does tie back to the thing we were talking about earlier, you know, oh, it's all sunk in. All everybody's energy and hope is sunk into this year's election. Oh yeah, guys, if all you are doing to try to help revolution is voting once every 4 fucking years, you're going to be disappointed because the government wins every election. And
Well,
regardless
can
of
I
the guy who gets in there, huh?
finish? But then I'll
Oh,
go
okay.
next.
And more pertinently, there are things that you can do that we all need to be doing. Like we said earlier, making, finding, go to your local goddamn farmer and say, hey, do you sell any of that milk? Hey, do you ever want to trade? Because I have all this, like, I have an axe. I can come over to your farm and chop the wood. Farmers love that shit. They're like, thank God somebody's taking this fucking firewood, right? So like, there's elements that you can do, especially in Long Island. My God, all the fucking trees in Long Island. Anyway, so one of those things that you, if you're listening right now, can do to help the revolution, if you want to stay back in the, okay, fine, whatever. If you ain't got the cash, fine. Share, like, comment, share. It really does fucking help. The algorithm, it helps. And number two, it helps our spirits. It really fucking does. As gay as it is, it does.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a couple of my videos from the Trump rally went viral. Like
Mm.
viral. So I was like excited. But shoot, what was I gonna say? It was important about so like you said, you can't hinge anything on one man that's gonna
Yes.
only be there for 48 years. But it is also equally as important for us to do everything that we can, and part of that is the local elections.
Yep.
So we do have to work with like just like I have to work with what I'm dealing with right now, being on the system. I have to work within the system. We have to work within the system while also trying to do what we can individually for ourselves and for our communities and for the people that we love and even for the people we don't know.
Right.
So vote in your local elections, run in your local elections,
Mm.
look to see if you can primary anybody. I don't care if they're a Republican. If they're voting in certain ways that you don't like, primary them.
Right. There's
And then it's up to us to support those people who are doing that, because without the capital or without the petitions, because that's one of the two ways that you can get on the ballots, without the people in those communities supporting, and for the petitions you don't necessarily have to be in the community to,
Mm.
and then you don't have to be part of the community to um donate either, but support the people that are running.
Right. Yeah. And it looks like a lot of different things, but like you're saying, focusing local. Um, you can't go like, oh, George Soros, blah blah blah. George Soros funded DA. Oh, really? So that means George Soros focuses local. And again, all you're doing is hoping and a wishing that once every 4 years, your favorite guy gets in, and then he'll fix everything. Oh, and if he doesn't win, or if he gets locked up, then it's time for physical revolution. Bro, you're acting like a child. There's many different tools in our tool belt, and we need to reach for those, and work harder and work
And
smarter. Work
it's
smarter.
not just about him getting back in. You want to gridlock him by not. I agree. Fuck Congress. Fuck all of them. Okay.
Mhm.
Fuck left and the right deep state. Okay. But we need the House and the Senate in order to help him do as much as he's going to be able to do.
Hmm.
He's not going to be a miracle worker. We're not going to get everything that we want. He's not going to make, and this is what drives me crazy too, is he's such an outsider. For those of you who are slow to the game, we're talking about President Trump. He's such an outsider that I feel like people had so much hope that he was going to get, because there was strides where he was getting thing after thing done, but he's not going to get everything done because he has to work within the system that he is in too. He's not a dictator. We have three branches of government. They all suck from time to time, most of the time, and it's our job to work within the system of the elections, as horrible as they might be, as much as they might not turn out as truthful as they should be.
Right.
It's up to us to get people around him that will do what we want them to do and what we ultimately want him to do.
Right.
The only way to get him, I mean, do we want two branches to go full on Democrat and then him be like, hey, I can't really do anything because they're stopping me, so I'm gonna join Twitter again because they let me back, so
Right.
he
Right.
would hate that.
Right.
He would hate not being able to do to try to save the country, because I do genuinely believe that he wants to. He would not still be in it if he genuinely didn't care. He's losing money. He's losing freedom at this point. And the only way to get our country back on track, because even if it wasn't him, the left is terrible. Okay? So
Right.
we need to vote in every election on every level. And if you don't know when your local elections are, look them up.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they're going to be 100% honest and that they're not going to be fraud, but there's so many people, it's frustrating to me.
Well,
There's so many people who are like, I'm not going to vote because there's fraud.
right. And but that's part of the thing too. I talked about it last week. I criticized Trump over some things, and a bunch of MAGA people were like, "Yeah, but he's better than the other guy." I'm like, "Yeah, and does that mean that I thought Jesus was the only sinless motherfucker? You think, you think Trump is? Excuse me. I don't care who gets in that position. Who's their employer? You and I. You and I are their boss. If we don't hold their feet to the fire, whether we hold it real close or hold it far away, we still need to let them know, hey, we know that you work for us. We don't work for you. Because why have these motherfuckers, that's again going back to that point era, they've been saying it's the most important election of our lifetime for 20 fucking years. It's bullshit. And I don't mean that this important election isn't important. I'm saying they stoke fear to get us out there and vote, get the destabilization. All better with this guy. And I mean, that's what hope was. Hope and change, right? Turns out the motherfucker really liked bombing people. So like and taking away your fucking health rights. So right? So don't get the rope-a-dope. Don't get duped. And we don't, and I'm not saying whether the guy is honest or not, we need to have more ownership and smaller government and have, our foot on the pulse. Us being intellectually lazy, us being distracted with life, us being, politics seeming opaque is part of the reason that we're in the position that we're in. Us having more ownership is the way to fix it. Right.
You can't. And the people who still do that, it's crazy to me.
Right.
And right now, I do think that he is the best man for the job.
Yeah.
So, we have to, like, I'll admit, I'm one of the sensitive ones where if people are attacking him too much, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's because he's criticized so much from everybody else.
Totally.
That I feel like, you know what, we have to stand by him, like, especially right now.
Right,
and the left, that's the crazy part too, is the left is so unified. No matter what, even to a fault, they're unified.
The left with money is unified, but the left look at Joe Biden's comments. It's all a bunch of leftists calling him a warmonger, right? So they're pretty divided right now.
No, I'm talking about in government.
Yes, totally.
But so the left in government and in, like, overall, they'll criticize him a little bit, but they'll say we're still gonna vote for him. It's, they're never Trumpers, and it's anyone but Trump.
Right.
So if this is the guy that we have, then we're gonna stand by him. I don't see anybody saying that about Trump. It's either the MAGA people, which I include myself, or people who are like, we need somebody who's nicer, or we need somebody who's
right.
Yeah, okay, so you need an establishment person? No, no, I'd rather the jackass who is gonna get shit done.
Right. Robert Lowry, hello, sir. Good to see you, man. He says they count on apathy to get away with their BS. 100%.
Yeah. And it's the people who are like, our vote doesn't count, and why bother? So.
But also, again, and we'll stop because I gotta pee and go to bed. But sorry, everybody, too much information. You're welcome that you get to have this much access to Peter Edgar Feliciano, you bastards. Anyway, I'm not going to take you in the bathroom. I'm saying another aspect of the apathy Robert is talking about is thinking All my job is to fight the satanic oligarchs who have been working on destroying this country for fucking centuries, is to vote once every 4 years. Not even to make sure that my vote counts by volunteering to be one of those people there on election day, by buying groceries that are not covered in fucking Monsanto, by doing this, by doing that. Oh yeah, no. My only job is once every 4 years to vote. That's apathy too. That's dangerous too. That's what's giving us over into the hands of these pieces of shit. So wake up, everybody. Yes, vote. Yes, campaign. Yes, mock. Yes, expose at every fucking turn. Multiply,
All of it.
but
Do
multiple
all of it.
prongs, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple prongs. Don't put all your eggs into this election's basket. Don't put all your eggs into one politician basket. We need to be multi-prong attacking them.
And as far as using living under the system that we're living under, back to kind of the topic of before, but in terms of the election, yeah, be a poll watcher, but also be a Dropbox watcher, because those mail-in ballots ain't going away as much as we
Right.
want them to.
Right.
So watch those drop boxes, learn
Right.
the rules of what's allowed to go in them, how often, how many at a time,
Right.
and you watch them. Bring a group of friends, take turns, take shifts.
Interesting. It's a good thought too. Yeah, I don't want to wait for another fucking. I mean, they're gonna try to cheat, but in my personal opinion, they're gonna try to sidestep the whole thing altogether. But yeah, we have more power than we have been told to believe we have, ladies and gentlemen. So stop doubting yourself, dum dums, and flex that muscle. Trust God and flex. So
I have a question before we end
you have a question for who?
for you.
Oh yes, ma'am.
Do you think it's going to be Biden?
Who wins?
No. Who runs? He's currently running, but do you think he's going to make it to November?
They might try to switch it up, but they don't care. I think that, in my personal opinion, I don't think they really care. I don't think they're really setting up Mike, sorry. I don't think they're
it's going to
really,
be her.
no, I don't think it's going to be Gavin. I don't think any of these people are popular enough or passable as popular. The thing that I think they're going to do, because Kamala can't do it for the love of God, the thing that I think they're going to do is say, they're going to keep Joe Biden, and then they go, "Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, it's bird flu. We have to vote online and in mail anymore. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, we had too many terrorist attacks because of all the oopsie. We let in too many immigrants. Oopsie, and we also flew them around and gave them fucking money and phones. Oopsie. I guess we have terrorism. I guess that means we have to take control of the
And the
state, right?"
illegals, thank you for bringing that back up, because I was going to say before, the illegals take away from the most vulnerable men and women of America who need the resources. Do you know how many resources that the homeless, the addicted, which fuck the safe injection sites, that's a whole nother issue,
Right.
the disabled,
Right.
moms, single moms,
Right.
there's so many resources that Americans who are legal here and who live here could use, and we're not getting, because all going to either another country altogether,
Right.
or people who are here illegally.
Right.
I'm not pissed off.
So anyway, I'm saying all that just to say, like, I think they'll probably sidestep it or try to. And again, regardless of what they do, I trust in God, and I also have some emergency supplies set aside, and I have weaponry, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I think they're not going to pull the big, Warhammer stuff, because they want their batteries still kicking. They want us, we're their batteries, we're their resources. They still need our tax money and our labor. So they'll flex to try to scare us, but ultimately we are going to win. It might take some time. It might get ugly, but we are going to win. We just got to keep pushing and keep multi-prong attack, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we can't think, because a lot of people do feel that way too, that, oh, we already lost the country.
That's bullshit. Fucking horseshit. That
I mean,
if you're black pilled, suck dick. Go the fuck. I'm sorry. I know that. I never asked you if you're okay with me cussing the way I normally cuss.
I'm from New York. I think I'm bringing
Okay.
it out of you. Go right ahead.
Me. If you're black pilled, eat shit. Okay, you're a fucking poison. It's too late. That's what feds say. I smell fed when you say that the world is over, when you say that the country is lost. You fed fuck piece of shit. That's what they want to infiltrate our little groups where we have positivity and, oh, we're thinking about ideas. They want to push our spirits down by saying, it's no use. Fuck feds in their butts. Okay, all you niggas. Sorry.
I'm so glad we stuck this out and did this. No idea.
Me too. Thank you so much for doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, Marissa, how do you even say your last name?
Meleske.
Okay. I was going to say Marissa. It's such a Long Island name. Oh my God. Pushpastparalysis.org, ladies and gentlemen. Go find her on Instagram at pushpastparalysis. On X, you're at Melissa Meleske or Marissa Meleske. And you can go to Linktree as well.
Is, push past paralysis.
Great. And then also Amazon. Go buy some stuff. Right. Amazon, just research Marissa Meleske. I mean, you could get there from her Linktree anyway. So
stop. We're in the last like 2 minutes and you're calling me Melissa?
Did I say no? I said Marissa, didn't I? I'm half Puerto Rican. Don't be racist. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And really, thank you so much, Marissa, for being a part of it. I'm really glad we got to make this work. And wherever you're listening, make sure you share and subscribe. Go support Push Past Paralysis. Let's get her the fuck out of New York. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I'll go ahead and end the live stream now. Bye.